Are you constantly planning to plan? Maybe you have all of these ideas, but then another one comes up and you kind of squirrel back and forth. Are you the biggest procrastinator you know? I'm Erin Zimmerman, owner of Elephant Social, and I'm here today to have a short little rant about planning to plan because in the last year of business, that has been one of my biggest realizations is that more often than not, I have been planning to plan. But as of today, that is over. And it can be over for you as well. So instead of planning to plan, what I mean by this is you have an idea. You write it down. I personally like pen and paper. So I will go take a notebook. I'll write down all of these ideas. I will sit with myself and sit with those ideas and just keep writing and writing and writing. And I get so excited about something. And then I have to go off and do something else. That's normal because you can't just work 24/7. You have other things to do. I know you do. I know I do. And then sometimes it gets tabled. Sometimes I'll write out a calendar of what I want to do in the next 3 months. And then I can't find it, or I take a look at it and that's it. It's not out in front of me anymore. And then I think, oh my gosh, I have this idea for something else that'll add to that next 3 months. And it kind of goes and goes and goes. And yes, I released a group program and I have done workshops and I have done webinars and I've done challenges and I've been working with people with individualized packages and all that lovely, lovely stuff. But a lot of times, even my personal social media strategy gets tabled because I've come up with something else. So, what I want to challenge you to do, starting today, as I'm challenging myself to do, is to no longer plan to plan. Don't write down in your calendar that you will figure out the details later, that you will plan out this group course the week before. Don't do things like that. Okay, and then also don't plan and then table it, because that also to me is planning to plan, because it's something that hopefully you'll come back to in the future. But honestly, more often than not, if I put something out of sight, it does go out of mind, or I can't find it and it has genius written all over it. I know that sounds so grand of me to say, but honestly, we all have genius to share with the world, and I want you to share it. I want you to get it out there. So instead of planning to plan, I want you from now on to plan and do. Okay, those are two very powerful things when put together. Because number one, if you're planning and that's it, then your genius isn't getting out there into the world, and people aren't able to have their lives changed because of it. Number two, if you're just flying by the seat of your pants, which I know we all do sometimes, and that's totally cool. Flexibility is awesome in business and in life. But if you just think to yourself, I want to start a group program today, and you just go with the flow, or if you don't have a social media strategy, if you're just running around like a chicken with your head cut off and just coming up with ideas as you go, and sometimes not even posting or sharing or anything just because you can't think of something or you forget, that's just that's just doing, and there's no planning involved. So you need to do both, and you need to do them at the same time, especially if you have the problem that I do of going back and forth between either planning and just loving it and doing and just loving it. You gotta plan and implement. So what I want you to do is when you carve out your planning, if you carve out planning time, I want you to carve it out so that you're also implementing, okay? And your best ideas aren't going to come on the day where you want to plan, you know? I've set up planning days before, and it's so difficult because it's like you sit there, and you sit there, and you sit there, and your ideas aren't coming to you. But when you're on the toilet, when you're in the shower, when you're in the pool, when you're at the gym, those are when your ideas are coming to you. I know because I have witnessed it. Like, it happens to me all the time. So what I do is I write down what I can, and then on my planning day, I flesh out the details, and then I start to implement. If not starting to implement, sometimes I will go through and fully implement, okay? You have to have an implementing piece with your planning. Because if not, like I said, and like I know you will plan and plan and plan, get really excited, table it to go make dinner or to go run an errand, and come back and that enthusiasm isn't necessarily there. Or you now have a mind block, a roadblock, something, and it doesn't get done. So I want you to start doing. And that is why I am co-hosting a triple content power hour. And don't let that fool you. It's a workshop that is 3 hours long. You get 3 experts for 3 hours. And we are going to take care of something that you want to take care of before the end of the year. So it could be write a chapter in your next book. It could be social media strategy, which is what I'm a huge expert on, through the end of the year. You want to get these things done before the holidays happen, because as much as we think that we have it together and we can work fully through the holidays, I have never been able to fully do that. You got family, you've got events, you've got crazy random happenstances, okay? And so you want to get these things done before the mad rush, especially when it comes to your social media strategy. You want to have that panned out, and you want to have it scheduled, honestly, because then you can go in and interact with your people. You can interact with your followers or your tribe or whatever you like to call them, that endearing term that you like to call them, without having to think of what's the next thing I'm going to post? What's the next thing I'm going to post? So that's a big deal. But we're bringing together 3 experts. We're bringing together a content writer. We are bringing together a graphic designer, a designer of all things, and then me as your social media strategist. And not only are we going to give you quick tips and lessons during this 3 hours, but you also get to pick our brain for 3 hours. So if you're interested, if you're ready to get things done, then I would say opt in. The link is below. Otherwise, you just get it done. Just plan and do. Never think of a planning day ever again. Never think, oh, I'm going to plan ever again. It's a struggle. I've dealt with it for a year in my business, and it's time to get out of it. It's time to plan and do. Not just do it, not plan it, plan and do. Ready, guys?